meeting to order. Fingers have been a-flying since the last one, because here we are with 1.901 charter school oversight updated policy as promised. And I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Battle to give us a little idea of what this is all about.
All right, and am I turning it over to you, David? Sharika. All right, I would like to invite our director of our charter school up to the podium, Dr. Sharika Roby Grant, to lead us through this discussion. Thank you.
All right. Good evening, everyone. As requested, we did make changes to policy 1.901, which centers on oversight, charter school oversight, as it relates to MNPS, as well as State Board, Commission, and Tennessee Code annotated. So in your packets, you should have a document that gives an overview of those changes that were made based on the feedback from our last meeting, as well as the track changes that shows the changes that were made to 1.901, and then a clean version that just outlines a summary of those changes. So do you want me to walk through?
If you can walk through the various category of changes, because particularly in reference to 1.9000 that was adopted at the last board meeting, I think that would be critically important.
Okay, great. So if you take out the summary of changes document, I'll just start from the beginning and kind of go through so you guys can kind of know the gist of what was changed and added to 1.901. So we did want to start an introduction into board policy 1.901 and kind of tell the why. And so we started the introduction and talked about how all MNPS authorized charters shall comply with the requirements as indicated by the federal law, the Tennessee Code annotated, Title 49, Chapter 13, rules that have been adopted by the Tennessee State Board of Education, rules that have been adopted by the Tennessee Charter School Commission, as well as policies that have been adopted by our Board of Education, which includes 1.9000 as well as 1.901, as well as in alignment with the current charter school authorization handbook that is updated each year. Immediately following that introduction, you will see the different policies that were included in 1.9000 that did not pertain particularly to the application process and were added to the oversight. So those policies include policy number 5, 14, 15, 16, and 17. Those were previously included in 1.9000 that talked more about charter school oversight and not the application. And so we moved those to 1.901 that focuses more on actual oversight of each of our charter schools. There were some languages that, if you move to the second page of the document, we talked about different language that was updated within 1.901 to align with the current laws as well as current practices within the charter office. So there may have been specific documents that were referenced that related to fiscal that are now included within the comptroller's fiscal annual financial report. And so we tweaked those languages to ensure that we were aligned with the latest documents and latest language that is included in some of our state required documents. Another change that was made, which was in bullet 2, was alignment with performance reports that were required. Some of those practices and procedures are practices within the charter office, so we added in language that includes our on-site visits that we conduct each semester, as well as the performance frameworks, as well as the yearly meetings that we require each of our charter schools to have. So those policies were more aligned to the current practices within the charter office, and we made sure that we included those in the current language. There was significant language updated as it relates to the website. So you can, if anybody visits our website, they can see that charter schools are listed. The previous language talked more about just one page that should have charter school information on it. What we are proposing is when any outside source clicks on a specific charter school, that information will be linked to their particular page and not just house all contracts on MNPS page. When they click on the specific charter school, they will see their charter agreement. They will see if they've had a renewal. They will see their governing board members' minutes from their governing board when they click on the specific charter school, as opposed to having just one page and it all housed on one page. So that was some clarifying language that was updated in the old policy that we revised for this new one. There was information about conflicts of interest that we updated to reflect if the board has specific concerns about a particular charter, you would reach out to Dr. Battle. Dr. Battle would then notify our office. We would immediately, within a time frame, provide the board members with that specific information based on the request from any board member that has a specific request about a charter school. Another change would be the updating of the financial documents. I kind of spoke to that briefly. Each year, each charter school is required by the comptroller's office to submit an annual financial report. Our office then retrieves that information from the comptroller, and we utilize that as we conduct the performance framework that each charter school is required to have within their contractual agreement. So we updated that language to reflect the current criterion that's in the comptroller's annual financial report. The previous report kind of specified particular documents that are no longer included in the current comptroller's report and template that's provided to charter schools that they have to complete each year. We did give just a window of time. If you look at the last page as it relates to contracts, previously it said within 10 days of execution. We're trying to give ourselves 30 days. I think when these policies were originally created, we didn't have as many charter schools. Now we have 27, and so we want to give our office a time to be able to research all of those contracts that may be listed. So instead of 10 days, we're recommending that we have 30 days if requested by the board, that we have time to go through each of those contracts for that particular charter school that may be referenced. Our last bullet that was updated, we talked about taking corrective action for performance of a charter school that's not in compliance. As outlined within our authorization handbook. So we added that language, the interventions that we have in place, the policies and procedures. If we see that a charter school is not in compliance, we included the language of our authorization handbook. And we also including that information to the charter administration as well as our board chair and directly to each member of the board. So we tried to provide this document, just an overview. You can see through the track changes, some of those changes that were made, but this document kind of highlights at a high level the things that were changed within the actual policy. To sum it all up, it was changed to ensure that we are aligned to the latest guidance from Tennessee Code Annotated, as well as state board guidance, as well as our practices within our current office structure and the Tennessee State Board. Any questions?
I would also entertain a motion.
I move to approve policy 1.901 as written.
Second. All right. Any discussion before we call for the vote?
I just really quickly say I appreciate very much the summary that was included. It was super helpful.
in knowing what we were voting on specifically.
And how quickly you turned this around.
Yeah, this was really fast.
Thank you.
I was like, what? Okay.
No, thank you for acknowledging that they have worked diligently since the last board meeting.
Yes.
Now. All right. All in favor of the motion on the floor? Opposed? All right. The policy passes. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
And Governance Committee meeting is adjourned.